everyone, it's Kathy Champion, and you're back here with me and my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. As many of you know, I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm located in the beautiful state of North Carolina, and I am just west of Charlotte, about 25 miles, in a little town called Gastonia. Thank you so much for being a part of my crafty family. I absolutely love to bring y'all beautiful cards and projects, and I hope that along the way that I can teach you maybe a trick or two that you might have not run across. It's always my my goal to hunt and look and find techniques that are sometimes even new to me, and I've been crafting for years. But today I'm going to show you how you can make a very fast and easy card just by using designer series paper and maybe a die set and a stamp set. You don't have to add those elements. You will need a stamp set. We always need a stamp set to put a sentiment on our cards. But what we're going to do today, we're going to let the paper do the work. And what I have here is I pulled, I'm not sure which one of these I'm going to use of the snowflakes. This was So Many Snowflakes was one of our sets that came to us last year during the Christmas season, and they brought it back, and I was so glad they did because I love these snowflakes. This year we have a brand new one called Stitched Snowflakes, equally as cute, and every one of these snowflakes has a very stitched look. But I'm thinking I might be wanting to go with something a little more elegant, so I'm thinking maybe this, but who knows, I may change my mind. Y'all know that I have been known to do that. The other thing that I want to be using is these seasonal label dies. These are brand new, and they coordinate with the Christmas season stamp set, and that, hang on for me 1 second. I am so sorry about my interruption, but my little dog Bella was actually, like, she was crying, so I had to go and see what she was distressed about. Y'all know that I like to create on the fly. This particular seasonal label stamp, this has such a big layering aspect in it, and I am thinking that I might want to use these two, and that's if I can get a sentiment that will fit in that one. I'm gonna lay those out because I do know that I'm gonna need labels for my card. I am going to feature this Whimsy and Wonder designer series paper. This is the most beautiful pack of paper that I think Stampin' Up! Has come up with in a long time. I don't know what it is about this paper, but I love it. And I chose this beautiful pink and silver. And you see how it sparkles? Oh my word, I cannot wait to see how this card is going to come together. Now for my card base, I chose a piece of thick Whisper White, and we're going to go ahead and cut this down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into a just a standard A2 size card, so I'm putting it in on the 11-inch side. Let me bring that down so you can see. And I'm bringing it over to 5.5 because half of 11 is 5.5. So all we're doing is slicing this right down the middle, just like that. And that gives you enough for 2 card bases in your one piece. But I'm going to go ahead and score at 4.5. So I'm gonna use my score blade, and I'm going to score that at 4 1/4. And I'm scoring it pretty good because this is our thick basic white cardstock. And I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to get my bone folder, and I'm going to give this a good burnish, just like that. Once I get it going, then I'm pretty good to to go. So I'm going to cut a piece of this off at 3 1/2. So 3 1/2 would be right there. So 3 1/2, and we need it to be 5 1/2. So that's going to be our panel to go on the front of our card. I kind of had it in my head what I wanted to do, and you know what, this is okay. So now what I want to do is I want to lay this down perfectly to the edge of this, and I think I'm going to use some glue. I don't know, I really love my Stampin' Seal when I'm putting a piece of Designer Series paper down, because I just think it works much, much better. And I'm wondering if I want a strip of this. I don't think so. I think I want to leave this like that. I am going to use my Stampin' Seal. So let me pull that in a silicone mat. Y'all know I love, love, love my silicone mats. They are the bomb diggity in your craft room. They serve so many purposes, but one of the main things that I love to use mine for is this right here, so I don't get sticky on my desk. There's nothing any worse than having sticky on your desk, and you cannot put anything down without making a mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this just like this, and I'm going to try to line that up perfectly even, running it right down the side. Nope, not quite there. The good thing about the Stampin' Seal, if you pull it up in the first few minutes, you can, well, usually that didn't work out for me, but that's okay. We're going to trim that off, and we can trim this off as well, so it's not going to make a huge difference in what we're doing here. This side right here is not going to matter, because I'm going to die cut a little border on it, and we can very easily take a pair of long shears and trim this back. So you know, if you make a goof, remember, it's paper. You can always fix it. Just like that, and nobody has to know the difference. Now, so like I said, we're going to use some scallop dies right there. It was the Scalloped Contours. I was looking in the sea for contour, and it was Scalloped Contour, because it was scallop, because look at all these beautiful edges that we have, and we're going to use this die right here. And I thought, how pretty would it be to scallop the edge of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it over, get it nice and even, and I'm going to use my Post-it note to adhere that down on both sides, and we're going to run this through the die machine just like that. Ah, yes, beautiful. Look how whimsical that makes that look. I love it. And then you've got this beautiful little border that's going to show right there. This adds so much to our card, and I mean, how precious is that? Love it. All right, we're going to toss that in the trash, and let me put my machine back together. Now I want to do something here, and the question is, do we put a piece of silver there? I think a silver piece would really accent. So I'm going to pull on italics. What we're going to do is we're going to cut a piece of silver for here, and I might even put an edge of silver there. I'm not sure yet. So let me go ahead and get a piece of this. And I am going to cut off a piece that is 1 inch. Yeah, we can always trim it back. So I'm going to do a 1 inch strip, making sure we got that on. Tell you what, let's cut it here. That way we can hold this is a good thing about this paper trimmer. We have 1.5 inches over on this side. So if you're cutting something that you need to hold on to, you can do it from this side as well as that side. Makes it much easier. So now we need to cut this at 5.5. And this is ready to go on here. Oh, isn't that pretty? And let's decide, do we want it? I think we definitely want it here. So we have this other strip, and all we have to do to make that work, get that little tag off of it, is cut this down to 5.5. And the reason I turn that is I see I got a bad corner on this piece, so why not let that be the piece we throw away. Just a little curl right there on the edge of it, and I thought, why not? All right, let me get my little scrappies off of here. And now we're going to bring that silicone craft sheet back over because we're going to put some Stampin' Seal on the back of this. And just like that. And now we want to do the same thing here. We want to be very cautious in putting this piece on. So I am going to bring it right over to that score line and let that be my guide. And there we go. Isn't that gorgeous? Now we're going to do the same thing with this piece, but it's going to go right here on the edge. And again, just some Stampin' Seal. And then we're going to put this right along that edge, making sure that we're getting it right on the edge where it needs to be. And just go slow. And then once you get it on there, you can just take your finger and smooth it down. Well, there's the front of our card, and how beautiful is that? So I want to do, I'm really debating on whether I want to do that silver or if I want to use these beautiful laser cut snowflakes. This might be the quick and easy way to do this. These are called Wonderful Snowflakes, and they're in our new mini catalog. And look at how beautiful these are. This just goes to show how you can use, mix, and match your Stampin' Up! Products from one suite to another, from, you know, one bundle to another. You do not have to feel like you're conformed to just using that one stamp set. You can very easily change it up. I think I do want this one here, and I think I'm going to cut one out of the foil from the well, y'all do know if I was organized, I would be dangerous. Oh, here they are. Here they are. So I am going to use that one because I think I want this maybe to fall maybe right about there. And I want a couple of single snowflakes. Love this big one though. Maybe some of these smaller ones in silver. How pretty would that be? Maybe a couple, 3 of those. And what we're going to do is we're going to take and cut us off a piece of this. And I like to make sure that I cut it the width that I need it to be. So I am going to use, I'm going to let this be my guide, because that is the wider of the 2 snowflakes that I want to use. So we are going to just bring this in, and it looks like 2.5 inches will be, maybe even 2 1/4. Yep, 2 1/4 should be sufficient. So we're going to just slice that up. And then I'm going to lay my snowflakes right like that. And I'm going to use one of my little flags just to hold them down. And I'm going to bring these over and just run that through my die machine. think I want one more. Look how beautiful these cut out. Aren't they gorgeous? So we can lay one right here. And then we got the smaller one. Oh, how stinking cute. Love it. I think I want another small one. Yeah, one more small one. Now just drop that die to knock out the excess pieces. That's just a good way to get those out without having to sit and pick. Sometimes you will need to pick if it's an intricate die, but for that one, I think we could get away with just doing it that way. So I'm going to just run this back through and cut that little snowflake again. And because foil picks up the indentation so much, I only went as far as I needed to go and then backed out. And the reason for that is I don't want to mess up the end of this piece of foil, because this piece is still good. Our foil, I'm very frugal with my foil. I skimp. I'm a cheapskate when it comes to my foil. I'm going to go ahead and just drop those back in the jacket where they belong. And while I'm getting all that silver off of everything, my little pieces, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut straight up on that. Now I preserve that much of my silver, so, which is always a good thing. So I'm just going to drop that back into my envelope. We can throw that piece away. And then another use for our surface sweep is to sweep up our trash. This works so great. Now I have a little vacuum cleaner that will work great too, but I just wanted to show you another neat little trick. Since I gave away one of these, I thought it would be really neat to show you. And okay, I just recently invested in the little Cricut Joy. I didn't think I wanted one, but the more I looked at them, I just had to have it, and I have had so much fun playing with that thing. It is so cute, so compact, and I love it. Now I'm going to grab my paper snips. I have it here somewhere because I just had them. Here they are. And I'm going to turn this over right here. And see, I've got just a little excess of that hanging over. Just snip it off with your snips. Just like that. So pretty. All right, we're going to come back up and we're going to put that iridescent side of that right there. And I think I'm going to adhere that with a glue dot. Glue dots are a great way to adhere small pieces to your, let me move this paper out of my way. And I take your pick tool. What did I do with it? I am forever losing that thing. You wouldn't think that I would because I use it all the time. But here I go again looking for it and I can't find it. Here it is. It was right where it was supposed to be. It was hiding out behind another tool. All right, I'm just going to come up and grab one of these glue dots, just like that. And I am going to turn this over to the matte side. These snowflakes have a matte side and they have an iridescent side. So I want that iridescent side to be up. So I'm going to put this on the matte side. And then I'm going to put this right about there. And just press it down with that glue dot. And now for these, making sure I've got all my little pieces out. And these I just want to kind of scatter about like that. Isn't that gorgeous? And for these, I'm trying to decide, do I want to use glue dots or do I want to use glue? I think I'm going to opt for glue. I think. And I'm going to use my silicone craft mat. And I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue right there on the edge. And this might be controversial, but it's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to zoom y'all in a little bit more. And I am going to just pick up a tiny bit of this glue on the end of that, and I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool just to apply that glue. And I just want it on the inside area. And I think that's sufficient. Now I'm just going to drop this right about here. And that's good. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the two smaller ones. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that glue and just apply it. And this one I'm just going to do in this middle area. And put that, let's see, I'm just putting them down onto the card. So we have one more. And I might need just a tiny bit more glue. Just like that. And then we're going to put that right there and press it. Let me lay this over out of our way. So as you can see, our cute little card is coming together, and it is spectacular. Love it, love it, love it. So now what I want to do, that piece of leftover paper that we had, I want to use those dies. And let's see if we're going to have room. I don't think I'm going to use this one with the silver. I think I'm just going to use this one. And let me see what... I think I'm going to use A Joyful Christmas to You and Yours. I love that. I love that font. I think it's beautiful. And let's get... There we go. So I can see I have used this before. I just want to kind of try it in here to see if it's going to fit. Looks like it will. So I am going to decide now, do I want to heat emboss this with silver? I think I do. I think the silver, I don't know. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's do it both ways. Let's do it in black ink. We got enough of room here to do it both ways. So I was just testing the water to make sure that I can get it right there where I want it. Should have grabbed my silicone craft mat, but I didn't. So I'm just going to do some nice even pressure on this. Very, very pretty. But I got a smudge of ink down here because I'm constantly getting my fingers in my ink. So then my little alcohol wipes to the rescue. It usually does really good at getting my little boo-boos off of my fingers. And I'm also going to wipe the tip of this off since I got glue on it. So your tools do wipe off very well if you use alcohol, like I showed you in last I Didn't Know I Needed to Know That series. So if you haven't checked out that playlist, go over and take a look. You'll find some very interesting things there, and you might learn a thing or two that you didn't already know. And even if you knew it, it might be a refresher course. So you just never know. So I'm going to clean this stamp pretty good. And then we are going to double checking to make sure everything is glued down, and it is. Let me zoom y'all back out just a little bit. Just like that. And that smudge is going to bother me. So you know what we're going to do? Let's go ahead and cut this one. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking to get that centered as best I can and as straight as I can. That looks pretty good, so I'm going to put down a flag. And let's run this through. I love using these label dies. I think they're so pretty. They add such a sense of beauty to your card. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's try. I'm going to turn that over because I had a smudge of ink right there. I'm going to use that same, I'm going to use that very same stamp, but we're going to heat emboss. So I'm going to get my, here I forgot to label these, but that's silver. I'm going to get my silver embossing powder, my VersaMark ink. So anytime you're heat embossing, there's a little prep work to do. You need one of these little powder tools. It's called an anti-static powder tool. Stampin' Up! Used to carry them, and then they stopped. I don't know why, because we need this. But if you don't have one, you can pick one up at Amazon. Just go in and look for a powder tool. They come in these little pillows. You can also get the one that's in a container that has a brush on it. I prefer the pillow. To me, it just works better. You get a better coverage, I think, but it's a personal preference. So whatever works for you. This time I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to ink it this way. And I'm just going to kiss that ink. Kiss it, kiss it, kiss it. If this one messes up, then we may have to go to the Stamparatus. All right. So now I'm going to put this down right about here. And I'm just going to give it a gentle rub, not real hard. And that time it definitely picked up the color of the ink, but that's okay because we're going to be covering this with silver, so I think we'll be okay. So now let's bring it back over to our embossing powder. And, you know, I didn't prep this paper, but you know what? That worked so much better. Now, if you see that you're getting embossing powder places you don't want it, I usually keep a soft, bristled paintbrush, very tiny, and I just come in and clean up anywhere that embossing powder is that I don't want it. Just like that. And that looks really good. So now we can close this up. And I'm going to get my heat tool out and let it warm up. So bear with me because it will be a little loud. And I set this on number 2. This is the Stampin' Up! Heat tool. And it has 2 settings, 1 and 2, which is great. So we will let this get good and hot before we take it to our paper, and then we will start to heat. And you just want to start in one area and keep it moving. And once that starts to change into a silver look, there it goes, see the magic. And I like to come behind it as well. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to cut this out using this die. And I'm going to use my same Post-it notes. And we're going to run it through. And very gently pull off your tape. And there is our one in silver. So now we'll have to decide, do we want to use the silver or do we want to use the black? So let's bring these up. I love that silver one. I'm going to pull some ribbon because I think the ribbon is going to really tie this whole thing together. And this is the ribbon that came with this. And it's the Blushing Bride Frayed Grosgrain. It is so pretty. And I think what I want to do is I want to just loop a piece like that. And just let the tails of it come out from underneath that tag. But our main question is, do we want to, I love that. Which one of these labels do we want to use? I definitely think this one. Love it. I think I'm going to go in with a little bit of Blushing Bride, and I think I just want to put a little color around the edges of that. Yeah, and this was totally an afterthought. I did not think about doing this until just now, but it just looks a little too stark white. And let me see if I've got a piece of scrap paper. I do. This one is ready to go in the trash can, but we can use it one more time. It is a total mess, but I do need to grab a couple, one of my blending brushes, and I need the one for pinks. So, and this is our pink. And I am just going to tap this in, and what I want to do is just basically go around the edges. I bet you didn't know your blending brushes could do this. Yep, they sure can. And then once I go around the edges, I want to tap, 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 and then just lightly on each side. A little across the top. Isn't that pretty? I think that's going to soften that up just to the point, and if you want to buff out your embossing, just come back with a soft cloth and just buff that silver, and that will bring your silver back to life. But isn't that pretty? Very delicate. And now we're going to cut a piece of this ribbon, and I would say probably about maybe 8 to 10 inches, something like that. And I'm going to cross it like that. Fidget with your ribbon. Don't we all do that? I'm going to put a glue dot right there. So I'm going to hold that and hold my glue dots, and then I'm going to grab up a glue dot. This is where your take your pick tool is like having another hand. Put that right there and secure that. Now that I have that secured underneath on that side, I'm going to secure it on the underneath as well. My little puppy she is just in discontent this morning. What's the matter? She has been, this is just not like Bella to be this discontented. Well, I say that, and we always call her the dog of discontent. So maybe she is. Okay, that looks so pretty right there. I love it. Love it, love it. Okay, we're going to cut this piece of ribbon right here, and we're going to cut this one right there, and I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this, and let's see where I want them, because I don't want them in the middle. I want to keep them to the edges, so I'm just going to use 2, one on each end. And then we are going to sit this down right about here. And now we have that beautiful tail of ribbon coming down from it. And all we need to do now is decide what we need to do on our inside. So I think for my inside, Bella, be good. For my inside, I think I want to do the blushing bride on the inside. So let's grab a piece of blushing bride. And we are going to cut this. Let's go ahead and close up this ink pad. Just a minute, baby. Just a minute. I am going to cut this to 5.5. And I do apologize for my puppy. I don't know what is wrong with her, but she is definitely not a happy camper this morning. And I am going to go as soon as this is over, and we're going to attend to Miss Bella. Okay, for this one, I'm going to cut this at 3 1/4. So 3 1/4. By 5.5, and this is going to go inside just like so. We need to stamp our sentiment on the side. And I think I want to get that Snowflake Wishes. May your season sparkle. I think that's so pretty. Since we are sparkling up this card, I think that'll be apropos. So we're going to put this right about here, and I am just going to stamp this down in some regular black ink. I do need to clean this stamp off, so we'll lay that there. We're going to go ahead and pick this one up, and this one is going to be done in Momento black. Very, very pretty. Bella, no. No. Okay, Okay, so now we have that done. We are going to turn this over and some Stampin' Seal. And I am going to go just like that. And then we're going to bring this over and line it up just past that score line. You don't want to impede onto that score line because then your card will not fold together like you want it to. So then just press that down, and we are going to call this card done. Isn't that a gorgeous, gorgeous little card? By doing that scallop on it, adding the silver foil and heat embossing it in that, adding a little piece of ribbon, it makes a spectacular card. Love, love, love that. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that this is something you feel like you could throw together. This card would not be hard to mass produce, because you could go in and stamp all of your sentiments, heat set them, run them through the embossing machine, cut them out, and do the same thing with your snowflakes. Cut your strips, stamp, and go. I love the way this card turned out. I need to do one more thing before we, do I want to gem it up? Do I want to add a little bit more sparkle? You know I always do. I love some bling. So I'm going to just get the basic rhinestone jewels. They're so pretty. They will match that perfectly. And I am going to use the other end of my Take Your Pick tool. That's the putty end. And this works so well to slide these gems off. And I think I want one right there. And maybe a little one right here. And why not one right there. And a little one right here. And maybe one more little one right about there. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty, so whimsical, and a card that I think you could be proud to give to anyone during the holiday season. I'm going to slide that down just a hair, and I'm going to zoom you in so you can see just how pretty that card turned out. So thanks so much for tuning in, for spending a little time with me. I hope I've inspired you to maybe get a head start on those Christmas cards. Go and browse my online store and browse that new catalog. You're going to find some beautiful products in there that you cannot resist. So thank you so much. I love the opportunity to earn your business. I promise you one thing: if you choose me to be your demonstrator, I'll always be here for you. I am only a phone call away, or a text message or an email, and when you reach out to me, I will get right back with you. So thank you so much. May God richly bless you and keep you, and as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He has done everything for us, and help us to live our lives for Him and to praise and honor Him every day. So until we craft again, bye-bye.